everyone, I am Rant42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and today we're reviewing the latest Star Trek episode, The Brightest Star. This is one of the short treks that CBS All Access is using to keep people interested in their service, to keep people hooked, to keep people subscribed in between, you know, the new episodes of Star Trek Discovery. I don't think that's working very well for them, but, you know, if they have actual numbers, I would more than welcome them. They don't release the numbers, though, so they can't be doing too well. Anyway, now, this episode, you kind of have to... You kind of have to take a step back and think. And for somebody like me, I love Star Trek with all my heart. I grew up on Star Trek, love Star Trek. And it's really sad when something like Star Trek is something I dread watching. There used to be a time when I couldn't wait to watch the new Trek. And you know, I would schedule my life around when Trek would air, back when we had to, like, make appointments to watch TV. This is something that I really dread watching. I don't want to watch this. I don't like having to sit through this. And I procrastinate. I put it off. You know, but I'm reviewing it for you guys, so you guys don't have to watch it. But this is what Discovery has done to me and my love of Star Trek. You're making me hate Star Trek. You're making me hate watching it. You're making me dread watching it and have anxiety and not want to sit there and watch it, because what crazy thing are they going to do next? And well, we'll get right into it in a second here. But God, this episode, I really have to complain in the non-spoiler section here. Normally with these short treks, I just go right into spoilers. But you have this established sort of set of rules that you use in your universe. And that gives you the opportunity to build stories around these set of rules. And that also helps keep the audience invested. It helps keep the audience set and knowing what to expect, knowing what can be done and what can't be done on the series. It helps people be more passionately engaged in your series. This is why we have people who have Star Trek channels and debates. It is because we used to have this established set of rules, like you can't site-to-site transport. Here's what the Prime Directive does. I mean, or you can, but under these circumstances. You can't just do it willy-nilly all the goddamn time for site-to-site transporting. You know, you can't... And, well, the transporting thing is more of another episode issue. Anyway, this episode, though, the big thing that they really forgot to stick to was the Prime Directive. They really forgot to figure out some established rules, and they forgot to pay attention to them. They just said, oh, well, screw it. We'll just make this because, you know, this other episode is popular. We'll just rip off that. And I'll get into that in the full spoiler section. But, man, had this been any other science fiction series without the name Star Trek and the rules of the Star Trek universe applying to it, it probably would have been about a 5 out of 10. But because this is Star Trek, we gotta go with maybe about a 2 or 3. And I will know more once I really get into this. I've got my notes here. I gotta go maybe a 2.5 for this episode. 3 at the most, just because I wasn't bored. I wasn't super bored, but I kept stopping to take notes about what they were getting wrong in the universe and in the lore. So when I have to do that, you really take me out of the moment and take me out of being entertained. I can't just shut off my brain when I'm watching things. I really can't. As much as I would love to, I can't just shut off my brain. And that is the biggest problem with Star Trek Discovery and any of these short treks, is that you can't just shut off your brain and be entertained by them, because it's Star Trek. Star Trek isn't about shutting off your brain. It is about paying attention, figuring stuff out before the people on the show do. And you guys are failing at that so much. But let's just get right into it. Yeah, 2.5 out of 10. Screw you, Star Trek Discovery. We'll get into the full breakdown. And here we go. Brightest Star. So you would think that the logo would at least look finished. But no, it's just more of the same crap Trek with the unfinished, rushed. It's a work in progress sort of title card that we get from the rest of Discovery. This is more of the same. This is really more of the same. And you can see all the little lines around every single letter. That just looks to me like they haven't finished the wireframing. And it is bad. It's just... When the title card doesn't look finished... let's get into the next. Yeah, it's bad when the title card can't even be finished. So here we have Saru. This short trek is the backstory for Saru. He's our first officer on the Discovery, and he was the first officer on Shenzhou, and he should probably be captain. I don't know. Maybe now that I've seen his backstory, he probably shouldn't be. I'm surprised they even let him, why is he on the bridge with the Klingorks, where they're like, fire am good. Because Saru, he's a kelp farmer. This is why they're called Kelpians, right? The planet's called Kaminar, so we're going with that, whatever. Why are they not called Kaminarians or something? They're just Kelpians, because they had the name Kelpian at first, and then they had the idea to say, oh, well, we'll make them kelp farmers. But why would they be called Kelpians? Oh, well, and probably some other writer put the name of the planet. Because this is how Discovery is. Nobody asks questions when they're writing any of this. Not only that, we find out that Saru is basically Stone Age level of technology, which we'll get into in a second here. We will get into... Oh my god, this is... Oh. So basically the people on his planet go willingly, like cattle to the slaughter, to get teleported away, aka cold, by this giant upside-down space obelisk thing. I mean, they could also be getting vaporized for all I know. They don't really say. They just... I think they imply that they're getting murdered to keep the numbers down, that they're getting cold. God, they're keeping their numbers down for what reasons? I mean, it's a big enough planet. Certainly, they could have more people. I don't know. Also, why do the little huts look like the ones on Pavo? That's what I want to know, because it looks like they just reused some of the Planet Pavo sets, especially the interior. But yeah. I guess they have to be culled, though. They're trying to keep the numbers down and stuff, but they're doing it because Stargate did the whole population control thing, and it seemed like a good idea to copy it. Or they did the whole, they're culling them to be fed on. Well, that was a Wraith plot from Stargate Atlantis. I mean, there's so many things that remind me of Stargate in this episode, but I would just be rather be watching Stargate. But I guess they felt like it was a good idea to copy something from Stargate because, that's an actual good show. So, we have a little conversation here with Saru and his father, who's like the priest of these people. And hold the freaking phone for a second. Right? This is where it really started to really annoy me, because I wasn't really thinking too much yet. We're like, oh, okay, he's a Kelpian, they farm kelp on their planet, but maybe... No. So... Here we are. Saru is having dinner with his father, the priest, and the one on the other side here is the sister, Saru's sister. And basically, he asks his father, what is out there beyond the stars, or beyond the skies, right? His father replies with a cryptic, oh, the watchful eye, blah, blah, blah. So he means, like, there's aliens, there's whoever's calling them from the giant space obelisk thing. And what Saru says next really got me annoyed. He says, but what if we had the means to reach the skies? Star Trek fans will know why I'm mad about this. Discovery fans might not know why I'm mad, but Star Trek fans will know why I'm mad about this. So, what you're telling me is that his people are pre-warp. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm a little annoyed. Because we know Saru is a Starfleet officer of the future. His people are pre-warp. So we know that something's going to happen that's going to break the flipping Prime Directive in this episode, because they have to do it in every goddamn episode now of Star Trek Discovery. They did it in the first episode. Why not do it again? That went over so well. I guarantee you he's going to find out about warp sooner or later in this episode, because he's going to end up on the bridge in the Discovery in the Shenzhou. But right here, you're telling me that he's a pre-warp society. He doesn't know, they don't have the means to even get into space. We see that they use like bone as utensils. They're not even at Stone Age level. They're using bone. I mean, I guess they're using Stone Age technology. They're not at Bronze Age. They're not Copper Age. They're using bone as their tools. This is a pre-warp society. That means don't contact. No contact. Don't interfere with this species. We aren't supposed to know who these people are. Even communication is forbidden in pre-warp societies. That is what the freaking Prime Directive is. You don't talk to these people. You don't look at them. You don't pay attention to them. So he's pre-warp. Good. Whatever. And of course, so Saru now, he has this high-tech alien thingy that his father told him to dispose of. It fell off the ship or something. Apparently, crap just falls off this alien ship all the time. I guess it's a ship. It's whatever that they use when they beam them down with a giant space obelisk, because the ring transporter would have been too much of a ripoff from Stargate, I guess. This alien species, they're the something with an apostrophe in the middle. I'm just going to call them Goa'uld. I mean, we don't see them. They basically are taking these people, and they have the little apostrophe in the middle. They might be enslaving them. They might be eating them, whatever. It's reminding me of Stargate, so I'm just going to call them Goa'uld. You know, and so he takes apart the alien thingy here. And I don't know if he's taking notes or if these are the notes inside the alien technology thingy, because we get this montage. It's not very well lit. We're still using that same shaky camera crap where you see the camera move all the time, which is super distracting. But so here's the thing. He's taking apart this alien technology thing. And he's using it to send a message to the universe, I guess. Because you're basically telling me that if I dropped my cell phone or my tablet or my Nintendo Switch or something in the middle of the Stone Ages, that a caveman's going to be able to figure out how to use my cell phone to call another person, right? Let's say Encino Man happened, if everybody saw that, and I was digging a pool in my backyard and I defrosted Brendan Fraser and I handed him my cell phone. He's going to be able to figure out how to call me on it, right? Fuck you, Discovery. Fuck you, Discovery. Some bullshit right here. So basically, he's able to fix this alien technology, figure out how to use it, figure out how to read all the languages on it, using tools made of bone against microprocessors, microcomputers, technology beyond us now, beyond the Nintendo, beyond my cell phone. He's able to figure that out and send a message to space, to the stars. Oh, Lord. Sure. Sure. We'll go with that. Sure. And you know, he waits and he waits and he waits, and he finally gets a response, and it says hello, and he's able to read it, and because I guess he took a couple of notes, and it implied that he learned the human language that they're using in this device, even though this is a device from people who aren't humans. This might not even be a communications device for all we know. But of course, he might have gotten lucky, and it might have been like a cell phone or something. It kind of looks a little bit more like my Stream Deck than it does a cell phone or a tablet, but whatever. But yeah. So whoever's on the other end can't be from the Federation, right? You know, because that would be a clear violation of the Prime Directive if they were from the Federation. But we know they are, because this is Discovery. Why wouldn't it be? And, you know, after some time passes, and Saru contemplates whether or not, you know, that his existence is enough for him and his people to just be kelp farmers and get culled for no reason, which is kind of a fishy backstory, because certainly other people of his species would have questioned it at some point, you know. But whatever. Paper thin plot. It's only a 15-minute episode. So he gets this response today. And of course he wanders off with his sister, but then she ends up coming back, and a spaceship lands. It's like, a spaceship lands on a pre-warp society. Really? Because that's really something that we can actually have and see in Starfleet. That their shuttles just land on pre-warp. Sure. What? Why did they send a ship that can be seen by everybody when they could just use a transporter? But we'll get back to that later. And so he's wandering off. I mean, it's a little far away from the village. He did walk for a ways. But you heard the noise when it warped in and it came into the atmosphere. You heard the ship. It was a huge boom. Big bada boom. You're making me forget words. This is how angry I am. But surprise. Guess who it is? Giorgio. Are you surprised? No, not at all. We knew it would be somebody stupid like that. She's Lieutenant Giorgio, not Captain. And, of course, Saru explains, he's hacked the alien device, turned it into a beacon, and Giorgio convinced Starfleet, not her captain, mind you, but Starfleet itself. Now, she's a lieutenant. She convinced Starfleet this, because she has access to the bigwigs at Starfleet. Hell, maybe she was screwing Captain Lorca, as well as Giggly, what's-her-name, Admiral Giggly Hot Pants, what's-her-name. Oh, this makes me so mad I forget words. But yeah. So she convinced Starfleet, not her captain, to allow her to bring him on board. And of course, yes, they explain that no, he can't go back. Because it is clearly breaking the Prime Directive, even in being there talking to him. And of course it is! Of course you're breaking the Prime Directive. I've been saying that the entire review and the entire episode. Now we saw this in an episode called Pen Pals of Next Generation. And you know what Starfleet didn't do in that episode? They didn't authorize rescuing the little alien girl that Data was talking to. Because it's against Starfleet regulations. Not only that, when the little girl in Pen Pals did learn she was talking to aliens, do you think they just let her into Starfleet? No, they didn't. They wiped her freaking memory. This episode is basically the reverse of Pen Pals, where we don't have any established, characters. We don't have any conflict. I'll get into that in a second, but man, if you're gonna rip off an episode of Next Generation and a whole bunch of other stuff from, Stargate, figure out what context you're in. Figure out the universe you're in. Figure out the established rules and why this doesn't work. But yeah, so Saru agrees to go along with Lieutenant Giorgio, and they take off in her shuttle. And of course, to make matters worse, they fly the ship right over a pre-warp civilization. This is Saru's sister that we see a silhouette of. I know it's very dark. That's how the show looks. I didn't do anything in this picture. That's just how it looks. And now, sure, they know that something is beyond the stars, but they think it's like a holy thing that abducts them every now and then and calls them. They don't know it's aliens. They don't know that there's other stuff out there. They know that something comes from the heavens. They're Stone Age society. If that. So basically, let's just get this off the screen here. So basically, Saru has been imprisoned or abducted by warp capable, so had Saru, let me give you a hypothetical here. Had Saru been imprisoned or abducted by warp capable aliens and rescued by the Federation, it would have actually been halfway decent and made some sort of sense. Instead, what we got was a bad copy-paste of an existing good Next Generation episode from the perspective of the pre-warp culture with a sprinkling of stupid in the plot. They didn't set up any real compelling reason why Starfleet would even bother with these people. In the episode Pen Pals of Next Generation, the entire planet was going to be destroyed. We had the voice of a terrified little girl that was pleading with Data to come and help. Once we found out that she was from a pre-warp society, we then had the compelling dilemma and debate. What are we going to do? Do we violate Prime Directive? Do we not? Do we go against Captain Picard? Do we go against Starfleet? How do we help these people without them knowing? Which is what Star Trek does. That's good writing, right? Here, there's nothing. It's like they took that episode and removed everything that made it good and interesting just to shoehorn in this backstory that Saru now is the bestest ever and the merriest of Mary Sues. We already got one. It's called Mikey Spock. We don't need Saru also being a Mary Sue. Had he been rescued and showed a great deal of potential and willingness to learn and wanted amnesty or something, then it would have been a better episode. Also, they could have just had his backstory explained away in a line or two, saying, oh yeah, I found an alien beacon, I messaged Starfleet and they came and got me, or I sent out a message and I fixed it and then they came and got me. Something. You could have done his entire backstory in one line or two, if we're going this stupid route that doesn't really explain anything. Now we do this, 13-minute, 15-minute, whatever, short trek that makes me question if they even have any comprehension skills when they're watching episodes like Pen Pals. Did they even watch it? I wonder. Did they even watch it? Or is it something that somebody kind of mentioned, like, hey, we did that once a long time ago? Because I don't even know anymore. It's like they didn't even watch the episode Pen Pals and understand why it was good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you watch this episode? Because it's taken me longer to rant about this episode than it did for them to actually air and broadcast this. And mind you, it was late. CBS, you got this to us late for CBS All Access. And it's just my own device that I procrastinated until Saturday to get this up for you guys. Did you like this episode? Did you hate this episode? Did it remind you of Pen Pals, where Data, was sending messages back and forth to the little alien girl, not realizing that, oh shit, she's pre-warp. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Random42. Please tell me what you thought in the comment section below. Oh god, there's one more left of these too, and it's a Harry Mudd episode. And it looks just as bad as the rest of them. I'm sorry, it looks just as bad. These haven't been good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream, and I will link probably my reviews for the other short trek episodes in the description below. I will see you guys on the next episode or live stream. Bye!